Hi, good morning everyone, and welcome to Billy's Test Kitchen. Today, we're making breakfast tacos. And for this, you're gonna need potatoes, portobello mushroom, red onion, a green onion, 2 tomatoes, a serrano pepper, salt, pepper, garlic. And for the potatoes, we're gonna be using dry dill and salt. So let's get this started and see how it turns out. Hi. So I've got everything prepped, I've got everything sliced, diced, and ready to go. And the first thing that we're gonna get started are our potatoes. So we're gonna go ahead and toss our potatoes into our cast iron skillet. And I've already got the oven preheated to 450 degrees. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and add the dill and the salt. So the dill and the salt is completely up to taste. So if you prefer more or less, you can adjust that on your own. For this, I'm going to be using about a tablespoon of dry dill and about just under a teaspoon of salt. So we'll go ahead and just mix that in. And I have some olive oil here. Go ahead and add some of that. Give this a quick toss. And make sure that's spread evenly. And if you cut your potatoes into even squares, then they'll cook evenly as well. So you're not having to adjust for some that are undercooked and some that are overcooked. Open our oven and we'll go ahead and just place that in. Alright, next we'll get the rest going, and if you follow me over to the stove, we'll get that started as well. Okay, so we're now at the stove. On my cast iron skillet, I'm going to be making the portobello mushrooms, and on my stainless steel skillet, I'm going to be making the tomatoes. So we'll go ahead and place our mushrooms. And we're cooking this on medium heat, and then we'll go ahead and reduce that to low once it starts cooking. On our stainless steel, we'll go ahead and add our tomatoes. And we're going to have this on high for just a bit to bring that up to temperature. So what I'm going to do for the tomatoes, I'll bring that up to temperature, make sure it's nice and hot. I'll then add my salt. After that, I'll go ahead and bring the temperature back down to a medium to medium-low and have the tomatoes begin to reduce. So we're going to try to evaporate as much water as we can before adding our garlic and pepper. So we want to maintain that taste of the garlic and the pepper, so that's why we're going to add it towards the end. So it's been about 5 minutes, and as you can see, my mushrooms are completely done. They're nice and soft, even colored on both sides. So I've gone ahead and turned this off, and we're going to keep it warm on the skillet. As for my tomatoes, they're now on a medium, and we're going to go ahead and let it sit and reduce this slowly. If you reduce it too quickly, you're going to have a tendency for your tomatoes to stick to the bottom of the pan. As you can see, nothing is sticking, and we want to make sure that happens. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes, and we're going to take a look at our tomatoes. And you can see that it has reduced. And to speed up the process, you can use your spatula, go in and smash the tomatoes so you don't get really big clumps. You know, it's all about the texture. If you like a smoother texture, you can help it along. If you prefer a little more texture, a little more chunk, then you can just leave them as is. I prefer smoother texture, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's nice and even, and I'll also help with further reducing the tomatoes. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add my salt and pepper. And if you like spice, you can also add the serrano peppers. Go ahead and mix that in. And we're going to go ahead and check in on our potatoes. It's been about 17 minutes now in the oven, and they're coming along quite nicely, so we'll go ahead and let that finish off. So I've gone ahead and checked on our potatoes. They're almost done. Our tomatoes have reduced quite nicely. So now we're going to go ahead and finish off our tomatoes by adding 2 eggs. And we'll go ahead and incorporate the eggs. Fold that in so it mixes nice and evenly. And we're going to continue cooking this on low. So if you try to cook this on medium or high, then your eggs are just going to stick to the bottom of your pan. And honestly, that's just not fun. So we'll go ahead and continue folding this in, making sure it's even. So it's been about 25 to 30 minutes on our potatoes, and I can smell the dill. They look great, so I went ahead and turned off my oven. It's been about 3.5 minutes on our tomatoes and eggs. And you can see on the low heat, nothing sticks. It's cooking nice and evenly. And we'll go ahead and finish this off. Probably about another minute. Make sure all those egg whites are cooked with no white spots. Looks good. Nice and evenly cooked. And it looks like we're ready. So I've got 2 tortillas that are warming up in the toaster. And now it's time to eat. Alright, so we've got everything ready. The tomato and eggs are all done. Potatoes are all done, so let's put it together. Go ahead and bring over our eggs and our potatoes. Oh, nice. We've got our tortillas ready. Woo. Nice and hot. Let's grab a spoon. And we're going to go ahead and make sure our bread, our tortilla is nice, even. Going to add some of our omelet to both tortillas. A little more on this one. We'll add a couple strips of our portobello mushroom. Oh, that looks good. Okay, then we'll add a couple pieces of our potatoes. If you like more or less, add whatever you like. And we're going to go ahead and garnish this with some red onions. And some green onions. And here we have our breakfast tacos. Thanks for watching Billy's Test Kitchen, and we'll see you next time. Time to eat. I wish you could taste this. The tomatoes reduced nicely. The potatoes nice and crisp. The taste of the dill. The crunch of the onions. Give it a turn. Breakfast made at home. Can't get it any better than this. Enjoy.